Today's This Week in Startups is brought to you by
PagerDuty, serving as the hub of your operations, aggregating all your infrastructure monitoring tools and alerting the right people and teams at the right time. Sign up today at pagerduty.com/twist and get a free t-shirt when you get your first alert. And
by Citrix GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and sign up for a 30-day trial.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis. And on today's This Week in Startups, a company, Chariot, that is hoping to change the way you move around cities. Of course, you've heard of Uber and Uber Pool, UberX. Fantastic. You can get around. And then, of course, you've heard about public transportation, right? You take the train, you take the bus, you take the Muni, you take the subway. There's got to be something in between these two things for the people who live on routes that are not serviced by the public transportation systems. Well, here in San Francisco, this company, Chariot, is making these beautiful vans that cost about $3 or $4 a ride, which is about 50% or double what a bus costs. But it's beautiful, it holds a dozen people, and they're doing the routes that nobody else wants to do. Well, I've got the founder on the program, and he explains that he's actually figuring out how to make this work and make it economical and make cities more livable for people who just need to get to work. And you know what? I applaud him because transportation is hard. I saw that with my investment in Uber and watching them grow. Very hard, very challenging, and he's got a really challenging job, but he's making it work. And the most clever piece is they're doing a program where they're crowdsourcing the next route. So if you say, I want to have a route between my house and the financial district, or my house and this other district, the arts district, they will, if you get 200 people or 100 people to vote on it, they'll launch it. And if they launch it, then you can roll your own bus route. But don't call it a bus. He gets very persnickety if you call it a bus. It's a Chariot. Chariot on today's This Week in Startups. Stick with us.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah, we ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis. We do this show twice a week, 104 times a year, and we're doing that for 6 wonderful years. And the show is about startups, creating products and services that make life just a little bit more delightful. And you know what's not delightful? Commuting. It's the worst. In fact, as your commute goes up, your happiness goes down. There have been studies that have shown alcoholism, drug abuse, divorce, domestic violence, all the horrible things that we don't want in our lives, they all correlate with length of commute. And cities are getting congested. We got big problems, big challenges. Everybody wants to live in a city. That's where the jobs are, but it's too expensive. Therefore, you got to live a little bit outside the city. Then you get the commute. Then you get the depression and the fighting and all the bad stuff. In fact, moving here to San Francisco, I have been shocked to find out that people are making $100,000 a year and spending 3 hours a day commuting. You're doing it wrong if you're spending 3 hours a day commuting. It's crazy. Don't do that. Live by your office. It's nuts. Well, anyway, today on the program, we have a founder who is trying to attack this very issue. His company's called Chariot. His name is Ali.
Hi, Jason.
How are you, Ali?
Good, thanks.
Vahabzadeh. Vahabzadeh.
I thought you were going to skip the effort on my last name.
Vahabzadeh.
I'm very impressed. Perfect.
Easy. Ali
Calacanis.
Vahabzadeh. What could be easier than Vahabzadeh? Vahabzadeh. Easy. And you can check out ridechariot.com, and you can check out on Twitter, ridechariot. Ali, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, you went to Tumml.
I did.
And then you went to YC.
Indeed.
You're doing the incubator hopping.
Back to back.
Back to back. Very good. Was that a good idea?
Yeah, it is. I'm a first-time founder, and Tumml was a great experience. This was 2014, literally 3 months after founding the company.
I love the Tumml.
Yeah, Clara
accelerator.
and Julie are wonderful, and they're super connected with the civic organizations that make up the city. And so being a commuting option in San Francisco, it was helpful to certainly be introduced to those elements early on and in a friendly way. And then obviously Y Combinator is a different
Great way to
bag
triple
altogether.
your valuation. That's a pretty good route, but a great program.
Great program.
Amazing speakers.
Yeah, you know, one of the things people...
What did you get most out of it, aside from tripling your valuation?
I was about to answer your question,
Yeah.
but it's... the thing I got most out of it, and people may be surprised, is my peer network.
That's what I hear. Incredible.
That's what you hear as well?
Incredibly smart people.
I made friends for life, and these are people that you can laugh and cry with over the good times and bad, and indeed we have. And all the other stuff is great as well. The mentors are wonderful, but it's the peer network that gets you through the tough times.
And now, with so many companies, you had 100 people in yours?
Yeah, well, I think we were the biggest batch.
Wow. Yeah, it was incredible how many companies. It
Yeah.
was. Were you in the demo day where there were 2 days?
Correct. I was in day one.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. I was like, by the end of the second day, I was like, my God, 100 companies. I remember you.
Right.
I remember the George Foreman Grill. And I remember the pot delivery service, Meadow. I was like, and the rocket ships. You could only remember the crazy ideas.
Right, exactly.
Because so many of the ideas, you know, I mean, how many SaaS startups? How many?
That's right.
But what they do is they break it into cohorts, right? Like, so you
They
have
do.
10 people or 20 people in your pod.
Yeah.
How many startups in your pod?
They didn't tell us what the method to the madness was, but there were...
Well, I think they're figuring it out.
Yeah, I think they just told us you're day one, day two. I was day one. I was towards the beginning of day one, thankfully. Get it over with.
Yeah. Okay. So what is Ride Chariot? Why did you make it? How is it going? Tell us
Yeah.
everything.
Chariot is a commuter shuttle service that is faster, more reliable, more comfortable and friendly than mass transit, public transit options, and much more affordable than ride sharing and taxi. It's
Okay.
also much more productive than actually driving yourself.
So you're picking people up in these Sprinter vans?
Ford Transit wagons.
Yes. Which are the Ford versions of the Mercedes Sprinter?
So they're 15 passenger vans, which we're about to upgrade our entire fleet next month into these Ford Transit wagons, which are brand new off the assembly line. They look like the Mercedes Sprinters. And
They're very good looking. Are these the ones on your website, or is that a different brand?
Yeah, so those are
Pull up my
on
website
the
here.
second picture, the one on our website.
This
These
one?
ones.
Yeah.
Yep. that
Yeah, they're
one.
very slick looking, very modern.
They're slick, and we've got them branded. We actually are about to rebrand them, and they have headrests and seatbelts for every seat, and armrests, and you could actually stand up in them. If you're 6'4", you won't hit your head on it.
Got it.
A bigger upgrade than what we started out with, the sort of Little League vans from 2014.
With the bench.
The bench.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Well, they're hard to get in and out of. You
little
go
bit,
only lap belts.
A little bit hard, and I got to tell you what, between you and me and everyone else watching the show,
The 100,000 people who watch us in the next 6 months, yes.
when I picked up the vans for the first time, when I looked at the vans for the first time, I had an O-S-H-I-T moment.
Oh-ish.
Yeah. And I said, wow,
Not good enough?
are we going to be able to pull this off?
Yeah.
But the problem in San Francisco, as well as many other cities, is so acute during commuter hours that mass transit is overburdened, overtaxed. You can't even get on the bus or train many times.
It's insane.
And ride-sharing options were surging or prime timing or not even available when you talk about taxi.
Yeah, in some cases.
$25 just to get downtown to work. There was no middle option. There was a huge value gap in between $2 and $25.
Right.
And so this became just an experiment. Hey, let's put some vans on the street. I'll drive one of them. And
You actually did that.
Oh, I drove the first one, and all of our employees drove the first few vans, the first few months. And it took off. We had 40, 50 customers day one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it seems like, listen, I live here in San Francisco now, people know. It seems like the Marina District is particularly filled with people who work in the tech industry, a lot of apartments, a lot of density, but the mass transit kind of sucks.
The mass transit is pretty tough. I spent my first 3 months in San Francisco when I arrived here from New York in 2010 in the Marina. I had just first Craigslist apartment I found, just threw my bags down and said, I'll take it. Thankfully, it was only 3 months, a sublet, and when the landlord asked if I want to re-up, I said, absolutely not. I can't get to work. I can't get to Soma. I can't get to Caltrain from here. So I moved, hopscotched around the city looking for a better commute, and finally I landed in the Mission, but I ended up buying a bicycle anyway to get to work. So 3 years later, when I left my last job, I said to myself, I wonder if the commute from the marina ever got better. I went back, and in fact, it had gotten worse. People were standing there watching buses 2, 3 at a time go by. They wouldn't even stop.
Yeah.
You would see people actually walking back upstream on Chestnut Street so that they could get on the bus earlier.
Yeah, go one stop earlier.
Yeah, they were walking literally half a mile to a mile just to get on to the beginning of the route. And I said...
We would do that in Brooklyn. In Bay Ridge, we go to 86th Street instead of 77th.
That's right.
So we can get a seat.
That's right.
On the way into Manhattan.
People in Judah do that as well.
Yeah.
In Cole Valley, they walk up towards the inner Sunset just to get onto the train. Craziness. So I said to myself, there's something here. Let's give it a shot. And people, despite the minimum viable product nature of the service in the beginning, really took to it because we were charging $3 or $4 a ride.
All right. When we get back from the commercial break, I want to talk about the very controversial moment that was happening at the same time you're launching your startup, which is a bunch of anarchists are throwing bricks at Google buses.
Crazy.
Total, complete anarchy, quite literally anarchy. These are literally people who call themselves anarchists.
Yeah.
And they're creating bedlam in the city. I wasn't living here at the time. And this happens right as you're starting Chariot. When we get back, I want to know, how did you deal with that, raising money, et cetera, on This Week in Startups. Hey everybody, let me take a moment to tell you about PagerDuty. If you don't know what PagerDuty is, it's the thing that developers hate most in their lives. It's when they are at their kids' soccer game or recital. It's when they're at the movies. It's when they're at the gym, they're running a half marathon, and the pager goes off and something's wrong with the servers. Now, there is a solution for this. One, you got to build great systems that are redundant, of course, but still somebody needs to be on call because it's not always your fault. Sometimes like some fiber optic line goes down or your hosting company screws up or hardware gets borked. Anything can happen, you know that. And being on call is really brutal because you get these constant alerts, and PagerDuty aggregates all of those monitoring tools. You have all these different monitoring tools. It puts it all into one place, and it pays for itself by keeping developers happy because it sends only the alerts that are necessary to only the people who are on duty, and you can roll. And you don't want to roll your own monitoring system like this. You want to use a professional system like PagerDuty. They've done all the work. It would take you literally years of development time to build this awesome system they've built, and consumers love the apps. They have iOS and Android apps because a lot of your developers are going to be on Android, obviously. And this lets them be on the go and receive alerts. And all the top PagerDuty clients are obvious: Atlassian with HipChat, Pinterest, New Relic, Airbnb, Panasonic, Slack, Path. All these great companies use PagerDuty because they want to keep their developers happy and make sure that their systems are up and running. In fact, Chartbeat, which is one of the companies I've invested in, uses PagerDuty, and PagerDuty gives Chartbeat one central place to send critical alerts. We now have a simple, easy process for on-call scheduling, says Justin Lintz, who is the senior operations engineer at Chartbeat. So here's your call to action, everybody. Go ahead and sign up for a 14-day trial at pagerduty.com/twist, pagerduty.com/twist. Get a free t-shirt when you sign up for your first alert. And thank you so much to our friends at PagerDuty because they built a great product that keeps developers engaged and loving their jobs. Thanks again at PagerDuty. Let's get back to this amazing episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to This Week in Startups. Today on the program, Ali Vahabzadeh.
Perfect, Jason.
Vahabzadeh. How could there be Vahabzadeh? Have a great day, Vahabzadeh. Ali Vahabzadeh is here. He is the founder and CEO of Chariot. Go check out ridechariot.com. And he is Chariot Ali. And Ride Chariot is the official company name, the official Twitter handle. Now, right as you're starting this thing, the buses, and I don't know if this happened while you were doing it or whatever, you'll tell me, I start to see this insanity of people are, I don't know if they're throwing bricks and they're going crazy on the Google buses because they believe that there is a class issue because public transportation is not getting better, as you explained. It's packed, and they see the Google buses and they think, oh, these are the people driving up the rents, which is kind of true, and all this bedlam ensues. It seems to have died down now, But what was that moment like? What does all that signify, and how does it impact your business?
It was crazy. I mean, I live in the Mission, so all of this was actually going down, at least some of it was going down a couple of blocks away from my house. So
Literally in your backyard.
I had a front seat view of what was going on. And I said to myself, okay, it's crazy enough to start a startup. It's crazy enough to start a transportation startup in this environment, given with what the Google, Apple, Facebook tech buses are going through. So I have a couple of theories. I mean, I think what the protesters were trying to convey was, number one, you have these people living in San Francisco, yet they are working in Santa Clara County or Mountain View, Palo Alto, for example, and they're contributing taxes down there. And hey, if they are working down there, why don't they just live down there?
Right.
Number two.
And the reason for that is people don't live down there because
it's
boring
for
as hell.
families, you know, it's a white picket fence, 2.2 kids.
it's boring, and the houses are $5 million.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, young people want to live in cities.
Sure.
San Francisco is a cool place to live. The second reason, I believe, was, and I learned a huge lesson from this, was these tech buses were gratuitously using Muni bus stops. And some people started to notice that they were getting in the way of Muni buses.
Which isn't right.
Which was true to a certain extent. And they weren't paying their fair share.
Right.
And so SFMTA launched this commuter pilot program to give them special badges and to monitor and measure the environmental impact of these tech buses over the next 18 months.
Right.
In the aftermath of that, a couple of groups actually sued SFMTA, saying that they had to cease and desist this pilot program, and they were trying to get around environmental laws, so on and so forth. I think that's in limbo. But yeah, I think with respect,
and they're paying $100,000 to use the spots.
They are.
So that's great. That money goes towards making the public transit system better.
It does. And I learned a lesson from that from day one, and as well as another company, which in 2013 tried to do what Chariot is doing right now, is not to use Muni bus stops. And so Chariot doesn't use Muni bus stops. Rather, we use mostly white curb passenger loading zones, which is open for anyone to use and stand for up to 5 minutes.
And so those exist in the world?
They do. As we grow, we'll have to source more of that white curb space. But it's wonderful. I can see us actually, sponsoring more white curb space in the city.
Okay, so you've been operating for a year, 2 years now?
15 months.
15 months.
Yeah.
How many people are using the product, and can we see the product? Because I think right now, I think is commuting time, is it not?
Yeah, it's
at the
rare
taping
I
of
get
this.
to. It's rare that I get to show this.
And while you're getting set up there, I'll just say that looks like you got a great group of investors: Softtech VC, Jeff Clavier, Y Combinator, obviously Wilson Sonsini, the great law firm, the Winklevi twins, Winklevoss. We call them Winklevi in the industry. Major League Baseball Ventures, no idea why they're in, but we'll hear about that. China Rock Capital. You got a bunch of people who invested.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a diverse group.
3 million.
Domestic, international, from all walks of the investor community. It's exciting to have them on board.
Okay, so let's show what you're doing here.
Yeah,
okay, I'm looking at your screen. Make it one size bigger. Do a Command Plus there, if you don't mind. We'll see if it breaks the design. No, it didn't. Good.
So this is our Chestnut Bullet. So this commutes people from the financial district to the Marina District, for example. This was our first route.
Look at that.
And this is the PM service. Sorry that it's...
No, we got it. We can see it.
Okay. And it starts at 4 o'clock. It goes till 8 o'clock. And you could see it that these are Chariots that are on their way, picking up in the financial district.
Those are the Chariots live, just like you might see an Uber or a Lyft live on a map.
Exactly. So we have live tracking, which is really exciting.
I think Lyft is still operating in San Francisco.
Lyft
still
is
in
still,
business?
yeah, it is.
That's just
I was in New York 2 weeks ago.
That's just an Uber investor joke. Lyft is still around? I think Lyft's still around.
And so, we have 6 routes right now.
Look at that. And there they go. They're going around. And then how much? How much?
So our monthlies run at $93. So
cheap.
Really cheap. So if you can imagine, there's 22 weekdays in a month. If you're taking the thing twice, that's a maximum of 44 times. You probably miss it a couple of times. But we're talking about an average fare for our power users, our monthly users, between $2 and $3.
Is it unlimited or one way each way?
It's unlimited, but we run twice a day.
Yeah.
Right? So chances of 10 chances to ride per week.
Got it.
So
But you might take a different route. You might go see your girlfriend,
Yeah,
your boyfriend.
absolutely.
You might go to the movies. You could hop on one of these other ones.
Absolutely. And the neat thing is, Jason, Chariot qualifies as a transit provider. So
What does it mean?
What that means is that our riders can purchase Chariot passes with commuter benefits. So
Pre-tax money?
exactly. So as opposed to $93, you're paying with pre-tax dollars. So
It's
depending on your
$60.
income tax rate,
A third. Take a third off.
absolutely,
40%.
at least a third. Maybe you would take 50% off.
I probably would. That's true. That's true. At
So-
this point in my life.
So we learned that on like really early on, and it's a funny story, Jason. WageWorks, which is the 800-pound gorilla in the commuter benefits space, they're a $5 billion public company. They wouldn't return my calls. I said, hey guys, we're a transit provider.
Yeah.
I'd like to offer this to our customers because they're begging for it. Never got the phone call
What's that
or
about?
email back. They never called me back. So, it's a large public company. They don't call the little people back.
Yeah, exactly.
This is back in April 2014. So I literally went to San Mateo, where they have a regional headquarters.
You knock on the door?
I walked into the place and I said, I got to talk to someone. And finally, I got an application. We took care of it then.
Really?
And
I like that.
it's been really exciting.
The receptionist must have thought you were crazy.
Yeah, she
person.
still thinks I'm crazy. Karen Wolf from WageWorks
There
still
you go.
laughs about that. And actually,
You know what, though? I think that's what it takes as an entrepreneur. If you're not willing to get out of your damn chair and go knock on the door and confront the person who's holding your company back,
Yeah.
then you don't got what it takes. Quit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we have that culture at Chariot. Whatever it takes to get our customers that
You have to.
incremental marginal value, we're going to do. And so that distribution channel for us is growing 30% month over month.
I heard that some of the buses are filled now.
They're kind of overfilled, I'm almost
Yeah,
embarrassed to say. So we track our pass-up ratio very closely. So what is
Pass-up ratio.
Pass-up ratio. So the number of
You left somebody
passengers.
standing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, that's painful.
It is, but we have a very tight control of that, and we have a very low bar. When we start seeing that we start passing up people, we literally can add a marginal Chariot onto the route overnight. So we
How
have
do you do that?
drivers. We
Yeah.
have drivers trained and ready to be deployed, and our fulfillment is one of the strengths of the company. So. You may or may not know, we're completely vertically integrated. So we procure the vehicle, insurance, parking, gasoline, and the driver.
Okay, so this isn't like you have outsourced people doing the
No,
buses.
this is, and our drivers are W2.
So they're full-time employees.
They're part and full-time.
Part
So
and full-time,
some want to
depending.
drive for Chariot part-time, either a morning or evening shift. Some do the morning and evening shift as well.
And I'm assuming there's hundreds, if not low thousands of people using this now?
There are. So we have
So it's a real business.
We have a couple thousand regular users, and we're doing close to 7,000 weekly rides at this point.
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
legit.
It's we're growing pretty quickly, and we could always be doing better. But I'd love to show you Roll My Route, which is what our next.
Now, I saw this.
Yeah, so
This is-
I wanna do something fun, Jason, for your
Okay.
viewers.
Okay.
I want you to create your own Chariot route because you're not
Okay.
you're not going to drive.
So
to
now
work
I got
anymore.
stalkers coming to my house.
What's your zip code?
My zip code is, what's the zip code in the Mission where you live? That's my zip code.
Okay.
Put in that.
All right, good. So I am going to.
We know I'm at
I'm gonna
WeWork
give
here.
you, an
25
address.
94102 is WeWork. There you go.
So I live on Lander Street, but not
Perfect.
exactly this thing.
Okay,
I don't
great.
need stalkers either.
Yep, here we
So
go.
basically, we're rolling a route. We're creating a new route, and I'm commuting from the Mission Dolores district where I live.
We'll put in
and,
WeWork. Yeah, 25 Taylor. Yeah,
Yeah, 25 Taylor. I was going to. Okay.
yeah. Let's see. You might have that already.
And 25 Taylor is in the Tenderloin.
Yep.
We love the loin. And so you can see that this
a
is going from
love-hate
Mission Dolores
relationship
to
for
the
me.
Tenderloin. And so,
Got to sign up, of course.
yeah, we're going to say Jason C. And
Perfect.
we're going to
blah,
create
blah,
a.
blah. Burner at burner. Jason at don't email me.com.
and,
Blah 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 blah. Password.
Yep.
Sign up.
So this is the fun part. Let's create a name for your route.
Yeah, the Jason Express. The Jason. Oh yeah.
Come on,
okay.
let's get fun. Let's get fun with it.
Okay, wait a second. What are the choices there?
You can choose one of these, or you could choose your
Jason Runner, of course. Blade
like the
Runner,
Jason's
Jason
Run?
Runner, of course.
own. Are you a runner?
No, but
All
I'm a
right.
Blade
Well,
Runner.
you are now.
I used to be.
Okay, so this obviously
look at this. How
isn't,
brilliant. I get it.
this isn't one of our more popular routes, as you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people are demanding this, but the whole goal here is to design a route and share it through email, social tools. We've even stolen a page from Teespring U and provided Chariot College, providing you offline hacks of how to crowdsource more demand for your route. And let me show you what some of the more popular routes that have.
Inner Richmond to south of Market, 88% rolled.
We're going to crowdfund that beginning on Monday. So a little.
That's brilliant. I think Richmond is going to be the next Brooklyn.
We do too. I want to share with you a success
But
story.
it sucks. That Gailey, what is that? The street?
The Geary?
Geary Street.
Yeah, 38.
The bus sucks.
It's tough. It's tough.
I hear
It's
it
always
sucks.
packed. It's coming all the way from the outer Richmond, outer Sunset or outer
so
Richmond.
it's packed.
It's always packed, especially when you get in closer to the city.
Disaster.
So let me share with you a success story. You can see
Yeah.
that the middle one here was actually rolled. It was launched.
Rolled it. You rolled your own.
We rolled. This was our first truly crowdsourced route, and it was.
And
from
so
the
it's cannabis friendly if it's been rolled.
It's,
Is it cannabis
yeah,
friendly
exactly.
route?
We've actually been
Forked.
asked that question multiple times.
Literally, somebody said, "Are you 420 friendly?"
Hey, can we
Blaze.
vape in your Chariot?
Yeah, the answer is no.
The answer is no.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
But you could
we,
have an
we
edible.
could have an excessive. We could have a vape.
So why
friendly.
do you hate people who have medical marijuana licenses?
Don't go
All right,
there.
So when we get back from commercial break, I want to see the rolled route and if it's actually providing service when we get back on This Week in Startups.
Soldier Boy Dre.
Hey, everybody, let me take a moment to thank our friends at Citrix GoToMeeting. I mean, gosh, think about all the time and money and hassle it takes to hold these meetings. My God, you're going down to the valley, up to San Francisco, the traffic, the cost, the flying places. And my recommendation is that you meet your clients and coworkers over Citrix's GoToMeeting. It is a smarter way to meet, and it has beautiful HD faces. Amazing HD quality. I just did an all hands with my team from inside.com, and it was perfect. Everybody had crystal clear VoIP, or they were dialing in, and people were on different platforms. Some people were on their smartphones, some people were on tablets, some people were on desktop computers. And you know what? I have a real thing. I want everybody to have like a headset on, and some people forgot their headsets, and it still sounded really good. It's really the most professional meeting product on the market. It's very affordable. I've had it for many, many years. I think I'm close to a decade using GoToMeeting, and I want you to try it and sign up for GoToMeeting today. You'll get it free for 30 days. You have nothing to lose. So visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and if you do it now, your first meeting will be up and running in just minutes. And that's GoToMeeting, and your first 30 days are free. It's a fantastic product. You can also, it has a chat room in it, which is also a nice feature. I like to have somebody take notes and put it in the chat room. You can also record the audio from it in case you want to share that with everybody. And you know what? I do that as well. It's a fantastic product. Thank you, GoToMeeting. Let's get back to this amazing episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to This Week in Startups. My guest, Ali Vahabzadeh.
Gets better and better.
Vahabzadeh is getting better and better. I could have you over for dinner. I could have you at a cocktail party, introduce you to people. He's the founder of Ride Chariot. Go check out ridechariot.com. Only operating in San Francisco right now, but operating how many official lines?
So we have 6 routes for the timing.
6 routes, hundreds of thousands of people using it, $90 a month. What a deal, a steal. $2 or $3 a pop. What does the bus cost? I don't even know. I haven't been on mass transit in San Francisco since I got here.
The bus is $225, and it's a $70 monthly now.
$220. So you're the same price.
$225 per ride.
So you're the same price, basically.
Basically, if you're using our monthly on a regular basis,
$20 extra. It's not that big of a deal.
not at all. You get your own seat.
Guaranteed a seat.
Absolutely, it's a van. There's no standing room.
Oh, that's right. There's no standing room.
Yeah.
So you're guaranteed a seat for an extra whatever it is.
$23.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely, and you can use your commuter
more.
benefits.
And you can use your commuter benefits. All right. So show me the rolled route here.
So
show me the magic.
So our first truly crowdsourced route with Roll My Route was this financial district of Fisherman's Wharf. And Jason,
who knew?
When the votes started coming in, it was like, who needs to go from financial district to Fisherman's Wharf?
That's a tourist destination.
I thought we were being trolled, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's a Reddit troll situation.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw all these. We saw these votes coming in, over 200 votes, And we got a phone call from the Business Improvement District Director at Fisherman's Wharf at Pier 39, big employers like Ghirardelli Square and Alcatraz Cruises. And they said, Ali, you don't know how hard it is for us to retain employees here in Fisherman's Wharf. And I said, why? And he said, we have employees coming from BART, from the East Bay. They get off at Embarcadero BART, and they have this enormous last-mile commuting problem. They can't get to Fisherman's Wharf.
They got to walk 2 miles.
Yeah, they got to walk, or they've got to take the the trolley during the summer with a bunch of German tourists. It doesn't work for
Disaster.
them. And so when they learned about Roll My Route, he got all of his people and the entire community behind this. And within 2 weeks, we rolled a route for these employees. It was fantastic. And so now they have this 12-minute commute from Embarcadero BART up to Fisherman's Wharf, Levi's Plaza.
And it's delightful.
And it's fantastic. And so I can show you that one right now. It's actually
rolling.
It's actually rolling right now.
How many 200 people? At what point do you turn on the route?
So
you have to study it. It's on case by case.
It's on a case by case basis. We're going to lower the bar beginning next week because we realize that once we get the route out there, the spike in ridership goes out. Seeing is believing for people.
Got it.
So just seeing it in the abstract on a website is one thing. When people actually see the Chariots on the road and people smiling and spreading the word in their communities or at the workplace, we see ridership spikes. So we want to get to a place, for example, for the Richmond Racer, which we're going to announce the crowdfunding on Monday, the bar for launching the route is only 40 people.
The Richmond Racer.
The Richmond Racer, which we've already crowdsourced at least 200 signatures.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're testing this crowdsourcing, see which one's popular.
Yep.
Obviously, Inner Richmond to South of Market is popular. Then we're going to ask those people, hey guys, put your credit cards down. We'll give you a massively discounted price. And the first 40, after 40 subscribers, we're going to launch the route right then and there. That's really exciting. And you can see some of the other neighborhoods that are really asking for a Chariot route. The outer Richmond as well, Russian Hill to Soma. You know what's been a big one for us has been Caltrain. Caltrain ridership is going up double digits every year, and so it's notoriously a very difficult place to get to. So all of these Soma routes that you're seeing here, a lot of it has to do with people trying to get to the Caltrain station at 4th and King from different parts of the city.
Is that going to extend to that new train station they're building, the new hub?
Transbay Terminal.
It will go to Transbay?
Yeah, it's going to take forever, though.
But they think it's going to at some point go all the way up.
I think so, yeah. And that'll be a nice hub for us as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're in San Francisco right now, but we're getting a tremendous amount of interest from Marin
LA.
County and the East Bay.
Los Angeles is going to go crazy for this.
Los Angeles, too, as well. I think the model for a drive-first city looks a little different than a transit-first city, like a San Francisco, New York, Philly, Boston, Washington.
How do you think they would be different?
I mean, can you imagine someone in LA or Houston standing at a sidewalk or a corner? It's less plausible. The way I see the drive-first model happening is them actually still getting in their car, like they normally do right now.
Going to a waypoint.
Yes, getting to a park and ride where they meet the Chariot, they leave the car there, 5-minute drive away from home, jump in the Chariot, and then they have this productive commute using an HOV lane, and the only time they look up is when it's time to leave the Chariot and they're at work.
Genius.
They save on wear and tear on their car, gasoline, parking at the workplace.
Yeah.
You know, in a place like LA, that's $40 a trip.
Yeah.
It's $40 a day, easily.
Yeah.
And that's not even considering the loss of productivity.
Have you put any thought to the idea of picking people up at their doorstep or doing like what are those vans that take you to the airport?
Super shuttle.
Super Shuttle, which are independent franchises, I understand.
Yeah.
But I remember back when I was broke, which was 10 years ago, I couldn't afford I went to Park City to go to Sundance.
Sure.
I couldn't afford to take a cab from Park City to because it's an hour or something. I was like, how much? $100?
Sure.
I'm paying $250 to get here. I can't afford another $200.
Sure.
But like, just take this airport shuttle.
Yeah.
What do they call it again?
Super shuttle.
Take the Super Shuttle. It's $10, $12. I was like, I got to take the Super Shuttle. And the guy drove around Park City, and he's like, they're going to pick you up between 4:30 and 5 a.m.
Yep.
It takes twice as long.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And he's weaving all around. It's never going to work. Or with this new technology like Uber Pool, is it possible to pick everybody up in your van?
Yeah, we're when people sign up at Chariot, they tell us where they're commuting from and where they're commuting to, and we're building algorithms in the background where we can create these nodes where people can walk 2 or 3 blocks to. We think the magic sort of walking distance is 3 blocks. So we create these nodes where we can attract the most people, ask them to walk to these nodes, or in an LA type environment, drive to these nodes, and take them from there, making it a much more efficient commute.
Yeah.
As opposed to going door to door, yeah, that may be comfortable.
Yeah, it's too many turns.
But as a lot of people are finding out with, I won't name names, but the ride-sharing companies.
No, Uber Pool and Lyft Line.
Uber Pool and Lyft Line.
It's a little annoying.
It's very unpredictable what the route will look like. For example, when Lyft Line came out with their hashtag MatchMuni promotion, they were matching 225. I'll be honest, we actually saw a cohort of our Chariot customers substitute away for.
What is that program at Lyft Line? I don't understand.
For a week. Yeah, it was take Lyft Line for $2.25. Not bad, right?
$2.25, yeah.
But all of a sudden, now they're picking up 3 people. They're dropping off 3 people in a passenger car. So you don't know if you're the first, second, or third person to be picked up. You don't know if you're the first, second, or third person to be dropped off. So all of a sudden, your 20-minute regular Chariot commute can be 18 minutes, 26 minutes, 32 minutes. It's all over the place.
But still better than the crummy bus, so more options.
Yeah, the bus is the bus. So where the communities that we serve, Jason, we are striving, and in a lot of instances accomplishing, we're the best commuting option.
Yeah.
So in terms of value proposition at a $3 to $4 fare, we are producing a fast, reliable, comfortable, and again, very affordable commuting option.
And it's gonna be what I like about all this is I kind of feel like, the system has been so archaic and so broken up until 5 years ago when Uber and other folks, Sidecar, Lyft, everybody, just started attacking this. And now you look, and a person can leave their house here in San Francisco, and they can say, you know what, I'm going to drive my car, and I'm going to drop it off with one of these, valet services like Lux or the other one.
Right.
$20.
Yep.
Okay, there's one cost. And I got to pay my $50 a day for the car or whatever it winds up costing you. Most cars are probably about $50 a day in the city. Or I can take an Uber, or I can take an Uber SUV, or I can do an Uber X or a Lyft Line or an Uber Pool. That takes a certain amount. The dollar amount goes down as you go down the funnel. I can take the bus. I can take a Chariot. And it's a lot of different options.
It's great. It's wonderful what's happened. And we're going to take it a step further, Jason, because those communities, whether in San Francisco or in the Bay Area and eventually beyond, that have been transit deficient are going to be able to literally within several days launch a Chariot route. Bayview Hunters Point is a perfect example.
Hunters Point is the area in San Francisco where they used to have the stadium.
Yes, Candlestick.
They knocked it all down.
A little bit north of that. Yeah, exactly. And
this is supposed to be a very dangerous area?
I don't know. It could be.
Because I heard that this was hey, you probably don't want to go down there yet, but now it's going to turn over. They have a lot of apartments down there, right?
Lennar is building thousands and thousands of units down there. It's going to be a wonderful
hipster paradise.
I don't know what it's going to look like, but there's no transit from there. A Lyft or an Uber is going to cost even more from down there than it would from the 7x7, closer into the financial district. And so we're really excited to be able to produce routes in Bayview Hunters Point or Outer Sunset or places like Balboa Park that traditionally have been asking for more transit.
What does the city think of what you're doing?
We have a great relationship with the city. I've met Mayor Lee several times. The supervisors are very supportive in those communities that we serve. They know that we are a reliable and responsible member of the community, And so it just makes places like these transit-deficient districts that much more livable. People don't need to crowd into, over 16th and Mission anymore because there's a BART line there or there's a 14 running there. The number of habitable and livable communities in the 7x7 and beyond will be expanded with more Chariot routes.
For sure.
And without any taxpayer contribution.
That's a very interesting thing, I think, because I'm looking at what you're doing. I'm assuming your drivers are working 8 hours a day or something to that effect, 9 hours a day.
Either 4 or 8 hours.
Yeah, so morning shift, afternoon shift.
Yep.
I'm sure they're making $20, $30 an hour, something in this range. Decent fees.
Yeah, they're making well above minimum wage.
Okay, so they're getting paid decently. So your cost of having one of these routes, it can't be that much. The vans cost, I'm sure, 50 grand all in or something, maybe.
We're not acquiring the vans, but it's not cheap.
Leasing them.
Yep.
So I'm just thinking about how much you spend a day on a route.
Yep.
For one, you have 5 of these on a route, 4 of them on a route actively?
On the Chestnut Bullet, we have 14 at this point.
You have
Literally,
14 going
Jason,
at the same time?
At 8 o'clock in the morning, down Chestnut Street in the Marina, they're coming every 3 minutes.
You have 14.
You literally can't call an Uber, even Uber regular, and get a ride in 3 minutes.
I've got them in 3, but yes, it's pretty fast.
Soma Express, which goes down through your neighborhood, which will remain unnamed, it's coming every 5 minutes. And going down to Caltrain and Soma, and it's you don't.
So
our customers are not even looking at the app.
I wonder what they don't even bother because they
don't even bother because it's just they pick up their head.
How much more efficient do you think you are than the bureaucratic city-provided buses on a per-person basis? Do you think your economics are similar, or it costs you half as much to provide the ride?
I tell you what,
those big buses seem incredibly expensive.
I tell you what, I wish I knew but I don't, because when we ask for data, oftentimes the data is not available.
Well, what is the total budget, I guess, of the buses?
So SFMTA has a $950 million annual budget, and about 25% of that is paid by the fare box. So they call that the fare box ratio in transit speak.
Fare box is the box.
So you and I actually tapping our Clifford card against a thing and paying for it. So that tells you that 75% of that $950 million is subsidized by the city, state, and federal government.
And do you know how many people use it?
So
back into how many people are using it.
About they say 700,000 people use Muni per day.
So you could actually get to $1,000 a year per person or more.
So I've backed into it. So their cost of operating per ride is about $6 to $7.
Wow.
And they're only taking in $225.
You're right, because you said it's like a third is the boxes.
That's right.
So 2/3 is not.
That's right.
So see, I think this is a situation where maybe society is better off just, buying everybody a certain amount of credits on these private services.
Well, I mean, you look at some.
And the buses are smaller. It's better to have the smaller buses.
Yeah.
More frequent.
It is. However, the biggest expense of running any transit operation is the driver, is the wage. And all the benefits that come with it.
I bet they might be part of the last group of people in the world with pensions.
Yeah, well, a lot of public employees get the pensions, and the transit operators certainly are one of them. But if you think about it, the smaller the bus, the higher the proportion of that driver's wages per rider, and so that's why they do the big buses.
Gotcha.
But there is a much better way to allocate the resources, and the neat thing about Chariot is we can shift our resources literally overnight. We can scale back one route and dedicate resources to a new route.
If you knew the financial markets were closed on a certain day, you could say, hey, we know people aren't going to be in here.
Yeah,
if you know there's what do they call it, outside lands, outer lands?
Outside lands.
Outside lands, just a bunch of people and making a bunch of noise in the park. You can send a bunch of Chariots there.
That's right.
Are you doing any of that kind of stuff where you're like on-demand Chariot, hey, we're going to do it for the 49ers game every week?
It's funny that you mentioned that. We are on the precipice of doing some large-scale programs like that, especially for the weekend, because
Your buses aren't in use?
that's right, we're a commuter shuttle service. So
Genius.
it's really cool that a lot of our customers have recently demanded, hey, can you take me to Napa? Can you take me down to the
Bolinas,
Niners game?
Sonoma.
Can you take me? Yeah, can you take me
Genius.
to Hog Island and places like this?
What's Hog Island? I don't even know.
Hog Island
I'm new to
Oyster
this
Club. You
town.
gotta go.
Where's that?
It's fantastic. It's up in
Like Tiburon or something?
no, it's I think it's in Bolinas. Yeah,
Okay.
Marshall.
Okay. I went
Really
up to
cool
that
place.
Bolinas the other day, and Maron, you drive on
Bolinas
that
is
road.
nice. It's near Bolinas.
I drive up that road.
The one.
The one.
Yeah, you got car sick.
Well, I was driving, so I didn't get car sick. But I'm driving up, and I'm like, my God, this is terrifying. I got my daughter in the back.
Yeah.
Then I'm driving home after a long day. And this is just daddy daycare. I'm alone.
Yeah.
I have no wife with me. I start driving back. There's no guardrail.
Yeah.
And there's 30 bikes in front of me, Ali.
Bicycles.
30 bicycles, thank
Yes.
you, not hogs.
Yeah, right.
This is no MC.
Yeah.
This is like 30 guys on
Yeah.
10-speed bikes.
Yeah,
Or
and there's
20
no shoulder, there's no extra
shoulder,
lane for them.
and they're going uphill at 7 miles an hour and
Right.
downhill at 35. I've
Right.
got 18 cars behind me. There's sand on the road because it's all getting washed out or whatever.
That's
I'm like,
right.
this is the most terrorizing.
Yeah.
I don't get scared easily, but my
Yeah.
God, I'm looking like on the side of the road. I'm like, this is how it's going to end for me.
That's right.
Tesla's going to go down the side of the hill. And then I talked to some people. They said, you know why that's so dangerous and there's no guardrails? I'm like, no, tell me. They're like, they don't want it to be the Hamptons. They
Right.
purposely don't make it safer and easier. They don't want to expand that road. They want to make it hard and scary.
You know, when you think about it, coming back to talking about transportation, Marin doesn't have a BART service. They don't have a train service.
I did see there was a Bolinas bus route up there.
Yeah,
I don't know whose
like
that is.
a very local transportation thing. But
Yeah.
you can't, with the exception of the ferry, you can't get to Marin County.
Yeah, that's by design.
Absolutely.
These guys up there, I have to say, I'm so disgusted moving up here to San Francisco and seeing some of the things I'm seeing. What a class warfare going on up there. These are a bunch of liberals in Marin County, and they're blocking affordable housing. And they're all these crazy liberal Democrats, and they won't give their kids.
A lot of conservatives up there, too.
Are there too?
It's a mixed bag, yeah.
They seem like they're all very liberal, and then maybe they're just like, oh, George Lucas wants to build low-rent housing?
Yeah, yeah.
No way.
Well, I go mountain biking up there often, and it's beautiful. But we get tons of inquiry from Marin County.
Yeah.
Ali, we're sick of driving over the Golden Gate Bridge.
For sure.
We're already carpooling. We would totally do a Chariot. We've even had a golf community from near San Rafael. We're working with them to launch a small Chariot route because they're just sick of driving. So if we can easily
Brilliant.
take dozens and
Will
hundreds
Marin
of cars
County
off
let you
the
do
road.
it, or are they going to be like, no?
They're going to do it.
They're gonna do
They're going to do it.
Can they stop you? Does it matter?
No, listen, Marin County, everyone wins when there are cars off the road.
Right.
101, Golden Gate Bridge. And so that's exciting that Chariot's going to be able to contribute to less cars on the road and actually giving people back their commute.
Okay, now I got to ask you a question about this because now you're up on all this stuff going on here, and I'm a neophyte and living in the city. I've been
Yeah.
coming here for 20 years, but what's the story with people parking their cars in the city, in the most congested parts of the city? They're parking them at street parking. This is absurd. In New York City and LA,
Yeah.
on the main thoroughfares,
Oh, right.
you cannot park your car
You mean
and
in
put
the
money
median?
in a meter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, no, this is 6th Avenue. There's no parking.
Right.
It's rush hour. This is Fairfax,
Right.
Wilshire. There's no parking.
I tell you what, Jason.
Find somewhere else to park.
I don't know why in
It's
such a
madness.
progressive city that there are so many cars in the middle of the city, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week.
The financial district's crazy.
You would have thought that there would be some congestion pricing by now. There
Of
would have been
course.
some restrictions, like in Mexico City, if you have a certain letter on your license plate, you're not allowed to drive in. We have options like BART, the ferry, Chariot from across.
Financial district, they have to do absolutely in the
Jason,
financial
there are
they have
people.
to do congestion
There
parking.
are people driving from the marina in Pacific Heights into the financial district 2 miles away.
I've done it.
I know you do.
It's ridiculous. I don't do it anymore.
I love the fact that some of the best stories I love at Chariot is that I meet our customers often aboard Chariot, and one of them came to me and said, Ali, my workplace took away my $500 a month parking, and I became an instant Chariot rider the next day. We've actually had customers sell their car.
Yep.
2 months after riding Chariot.
Of course.
For me, that's the best feeling possible.
I went from 4 cars in LA down to 2 here in San Francisco.
You're making progress.
And I'm going to go down to 1 because
you can only drive one at a time.
Well, my wife and the kid, the dogs, we have to have one to get out of this city.
It's interesting you say that because we see there's a great opportunity in the East Bay, for example. Think about what's happening in the East Bay. People are trying to use BART. They nudge their spouse at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sweetheart, could you please
drop me off at the BART?
Exactly. I'm from Long
Fruitvale
Island.
Station.
I'm from Long Island. You're from Brooklyn.
Yes.
My mother used to do this. My dad used to do the same thing to my mom.
It's a tradition.
My poor mom had to jump in the
car.
car.
Crack of dawn.
Exactly. So what's happening is they're getting to the BART station, and anyway, that's a problem in itself. But all of a sudden, they're newlyweds and they have a new baby, and who's going to look after the baby when she's dropping off the hubby at the parking lot?
Yeah.
So you can't do it. So all of a sudden, you buy 2 cars.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay, so the guy's got to drive his car to the BART station.
And leave it there.
All day.
Yeah.
That's
to get
all,
baked
that's all
in the
he's got to
sun.
do. That's the good news.
Yeah.
The bad news is he drives to the BART station. There's a 2-year waiting list for parking lots at some BART stations.
No.
He gets there at 6:30 in the morning. He thinks he's smart and intrepid because he gets there an hour early. It's still packed. So what does that guy do?
I have no idea.
He jumps on the 80 and he drives. And he contributes to all the gridlock that is happening in the 580 or the 80. I'm not from the East Bay.
What does the Bay Bridge cost to go over?
$7.
And it's still people are doing it like crazy.
I tell you what, it should be $15.
Well, that's the Verrazano Bridge in New York. I'm not sure what it is now, but I think it's about $87.
And if I was the mayor of San Francisco, I would be.
We need a little Bloomberg in this town.
I would be gunning.
Maybe
I would be gunning license plates as they came into the city. They're just contributing to
pull up the
all
Verrazano
traffic.
Bridge, producer Jackie. I'm curious. The Verrazano Bridge in New York. I think it's $20 one way, which is 10 each way.
Is it really?
Yeah, but then in London, they have this congestion
They do have the
pricing, and
congestion
that has
pricing.
changed everything.
I used to live in London, and it's
$50, right, or
it's
something?
Unbelievable.
I think
works.
it's $50 to go into the city.
It works.
During prime time.
I would feel bad for the small business owner, like the plumber coming in from Oakland, and I think commercial vehicles should be exempt. There's really no reason a single
pass it on to the people. They can pass it on to the people here.
But there's really no reason a single.
Verrazano Bridge, $16. Breaking news.
Wow.
But
$60.
that's
The
the only
GWB
charge.
is up there as well.
Yeah, they only charge one way though.
One way.
And if you live in Staten Island, you can get a pass. They take like half off.
Right. Here, the tolls are too cheap in my.
Are you going to be able to walk over the Bay Bridge? I see on that new stanchion that they made, the second half that they rebuilt, it seems like there's a huge walkway on the side.
I haven't tried it yet, but it's beautiful.
It looks like
it's
you're
only
able to walk.
$10 billion over budget and 10 years overdue. But I really see in urban America over the next 10 to 20 years that the car ownership will go down. You're seeing it with the millennials.
Yeah.
People,
no, they don't want to.
Young people in LA, they not only do they not buy homes, they don't buy cars, they don't buy furniture.
Yes, there's
They
a
just want
whole
to be able to pick up
minimalism and having less, which frees your mind.
That's right.
And you don't have to grow up. You can be Peter Pan forever. No, but it does. I'm trying to downsize a lot of stuff in my life. I just went through my closet and just got rid of everything and donated it to charity. Just have the things I like in there.
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
So you could imagine a world in which you use Chariot to go home, to go to work and to come home, and you use Lyft or Uber for Friday or Saturday night.
Yep.
And you use relay rides to get around for Saturday, Sunday.
If you want to go to somewhere.
Yeah, you go with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever to outside the city. That's what I do. I've never owned a car in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not about to start now, especially with all the options we have.
Okay, now there's another company. I got pitched on another company that is doing a commuter bus.
Yep.
But they showed me a rendering, and the thing looked like a Starbucks inside. What's that company? What's that story? This is a competitor, and it's got like a fancy dancy.
You mean the blue bus?
What is it called? Blue bus.
It's a blue bus. It's like
the blue bus.
Yeah, it's called. I think it's Leap Transit.
Leap Transit.
Yeah.
This is the big competitor.
Jason, you're behind the times.
What's the story with this
They
one?
auctioned their buses off 2 weeks ago.
Did they really?
Yeah.
What was the story with that one? Tell me because
So that was the company I told you that launched something similar in 2013. They did this 4-month beta, and they did it in the marina, and they went offline. They just abruptly told everyone, "Thanks, we're going to go look for money."
Couldn't get funding.
They ended up did get funding. And then no one knew where they went. In the meantime, Chariot launched in April 2014, and we got a whole lot of traction and expanded from 1 route and 4 vehicles to 6 routes and close to 50 vehicles presently. These guys, kudos to them. They announced their relaunch on demo
Here
day.
Here it is.
Yeah, when you and I met for the first time.
So they relaunched on your demo day.
Yeah, they were trying to steal our thunder. Pretty cute.
Yeah. Well, it's fair in love and startups. But look at this. They got a guy. They actually put a hipster on the bus, and I can see clearly the $7 blue bottle on the top shelf there. That's the blue bottle chicory coffee, which is unbelievable. This guy looks like a supermodel. And then I see here they have the water in the carton.
It's pretty nifty how you do that. Yeah.
This is literally the hipster bus. But look at this. Look at the design, and they got a little jam box going here, and you can sit on the window. But this didn't work. Why? Because I thought when I saw this, hey, those are beautiful buses, and this seems pretty cool. Was it $8 or something, or?
I don't want to speak ill of anyone. I'm sure
No,
the
but why
founders are nice and stuff.
But it didn't work.
From my standpoint, I'll tell you why it didn't work.
Yeah.
They bought these 12-year-old buses with 300,000 miles on them. The only reason you would buy a bus is because it can hold a lot of people.
Right.
You could hold 60, 65 people. So you could pack some revenue in there. They took the bus and they stripped out all of the capacity. And so now you can only fit 16, 18 people. I don't know. Chariot operates vans. We can fit 14 passengers in the thing. So all of a sudden, you're operating this enormous cost center with only 16 or 18 revenue opportunities. So the math would never work, even if it was 100% occupied. You could just do it on the back of an envelope. It would never work. They were $6, which I think gets to a price point which is a little too high. We're in the $3 to $4 range, $2 to $3 for our monthly users. It's just
no brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, see, it becomes a considered purchase, and then when you start talking about $6 a ride, or $8 a ride, whatever, $6 a ride, let's say, then you're talking about UberX. You start talking about Uber Pool.
Yeah, LaFly and Uber Pool, they're $7, and so now
and
almost you're competing with them. Yeah, and so it's for me it didn't make sense, and. I wish them the best. I don't know what they're doing, but
that's fine. Listen, things don't work out. People try stuff. I think it's always very important.
It's great
to examine why something didn't work. Like I wrote a little piece about why I think Circa didn't work.
Yep.
And I was very reticent to do it because I was an investor in it. But I was like, let me just write like the 20 things I loved about the team and what worked.
Yeah.
I tried to be very kind and very honest about that. And then I said, here's the reason I think it didn't work was because they were up against people who were being ridiculous and crazy and salacious and doing link baiting and whatever, and they felt boring by comparison by just telling the truth. I think it's important we examine these things, even my failures, your failures, whatever.
I think one of the things we did well early on was we just listened to our customers, and the commuter benefits idea was first week from our customers. I was embarrassed because I totally missed that one when I was in the pre-launch stage. And so we rushed to do it, and we learned how our riders behave with our app and with the charioteers who drive the chariots, and we're constantly learning and relearning from our customers.
I don't have to fist bump the driver or anything like that.
You don't have to fist bump the driver.
That's the one thing I didn't like about that service. It's like, I really don't want to talk to the driver or buy apple pies from her.
Yeah.
Like literally, when I knew it wasn't going to work is when I was like, number one, the mustache is ridiculous.
No, exactly.
I feel silly getting in this car. Number two, I literally had a woman trying to sell me apple pie, and she didn't let it go.
Wow.
She was like, I have apple pies and I have peach pie, and I made them.
And you don't want to be in the front seat either.
Well, there were 5 pies in the front seat, and,
wow.
and I don't want to be in the front seat either. And I don't want to fist bump anybody. I just want to I got work to do. I want to this is my downtime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had this opportunity where we have people who they just tune out, they're reading their Kindle, they're listening to a podcast, or they're actually literally meeting their colleagues at Gap or Salesforce or Google on board for the very first time, which is a really special moment.
That's cool.
They don't know their Salesforce colleague at work. Rather, they meet them on a Chariot. And, oh, by the way, we live 2 blocks away.
That'd be cool if you could opt into, when you get on, sharing that you're on the bus.
We're working on some interesting social features. But more than social, actually, if you think about it, it's a commuter shuttle. It's more professional than social.
Right.
On our Soma Express, our second route, which transits between Marina, Cow Hollow, Pack Heights down to Soma and Caltrain, imagine, it's going to Soma, so it's all these startup founders and people working in startups on this, from Weebly to Instacart. There are people, I witnessed
recruiting.
One time, there are people recruiting.
I'm getting on there and find some deals.
And there are people trading not resumes, but business cards and doing business development deals. It's funny, Jamie from Instacart is notorious for that. Hi, Jamie.
Can anybody just jump on the bus and pay $2, or do you have to have a membership ahead of time?
So you're from Brooklyn. You know the dollar vans.
Yeah, of course. Dollar van.
Yeah. They're now $2
Dollar cab,
because of
gypsy
inflation.
cab.
It's not
Dollar
as
back.
informal as that, because we want to adhere to the city laws and not just be Uber and Lyft stopping in the middle of the street, but actually using curb space. But
can I jump on from the curb and get on, or do I have to have a membership ahead of time?
No, you can sign up before, and we actually let you sign up on the Chariot. And,
yeah.
And then you use your smartphone to use your QR code to scan against an iPad Mini on board.
Beep, beep, boop.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Love
it. And we communicate with you through the Chariot, let you know if there are service alerts. If there's a Giants game, we move the stop so that we avoid traffic. So it's this sort of dynamism that our customers have learned to appreciate. The Jay-Z concert, for example, that was a big lesson that we learned. We just got stuck. And so we said, why don't we, would our customers be furious or opposed if we moved from, let's say, Townsend and 4th to Bryant and 4th during Giants Day games or big events at...
Of course, you just communicate it to them.
And they were like, hey, we get it. And now we just beat all the traffic. And
everybody wants to go faster.
To doing other things like that.
All right, listen. Ali Vahabzadeh.
Jason, thank you so much for having me.
This is great. I'm so happy that it's working. I wish you great success. Everybody try ridechariot.com. You can follow Chariot Ali.
I have one question for you, Janice.
Oh, here we go.
When are you going to take your first Chariot ride?
You know what? My daughter loves to take the bus.
The Soma Express.
I'll do it. I'll take it.
Drops you at 5th and Mission.
You have to understand, Ali. I'm very famous now. You understand?
We've got famous people on board.
I'm very famous now. If I get on that bus, you know what's going to happen?
It's a Chariot. It's not a bus.
I'm sorry. I apologize. When I get in your Chariot, you know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen? You're going to get pitched
if
7
you
ways
write
to Sunday.
checks, you all of a sudden, it's like this is if you're an angel investor in San Francisco is the equivalent of a producer in LA. Which means I am going to get assaulted on your bus.
We've got Chariot hats on board in case you're a celebrity.
I'll put the hat on, put the sunglasses on, and be a little Leonardo DiCaprio.
And sunglasses, perfect. You're done.
I'm joking. I love, and the fans know this, I literally had a guy give me like the high five of the century, because I always tell people, don't be weird because a lot of people are going to recognize me on the street or in an event. I'm like, just give me a high five, tell me your favorite show. So this guy sees me from like literally 20 feet away on Market Street, and he just like goes, he points at me, and he goes like this. And he puts his hand up. But he doesn't, he walks
doesn't say a word.
Straight, doesn't say a word, and he just walks by and goes, bang, and he just grabs, boom, high five, and keeps walking.
There you have it, people. You can high five Jason Calacanis.
I think it's a cool thing to do.
It's great.
I love it. And then I always do the preemptive selfie. You know what the preemptive selfie is?
What's that?
So anytime I meet somebody, I'm like, hey. And they're like, hey, I love the show. I saw Ali on the show. That was a great episode. We had a great conversation. I love this part, that part. That's a brilliant idea. I say, oh, that's great. I really appreciate it. Hey, can we take a picture? Can we take a selfie?
Right.
And the people are like, yeah. I'm like, great. So I take my phone out. I take the selfie. I say, what's your Twitter handle? They send me a Twitter handle. I blow them up on Twitter. And it makes the whole thing less awkward.
That's wonderful.
It's a much better approach.
Just leave your checkbook at home. Don't walk around with it.
No, I bring cash. I've always got cash. I always bring like 25 dimes. I keep 25 dimes with me. You never know. I got to like get in these deals before Saka, Dave Morin, It's a very active space.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if you found a deal on Chariot one day.
I bet you I find a deal. I bet you I find a good deal on Chariot. All right, listen. Continued success. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. It's a genius idea.
Thanks so much, Jason.
And congratulations to Tumml, by the way, just tearing it up. You guys really do a great job over there. And thanks everybody working so hard here. WeWork, thank you. And hey, check out the IBM launch Smart Camp, smartcamp2015.com. Is it SmartCamp 2015 or 2016? 2015. SmartCamp 2015. It's going to be amazing. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Just a little bit in the headphone. Worldwide. International.